everyone, this is Devin Moreno and welcome to another Baltimore Investors video. And today I wanted to go ahead and show you another progress update on Venable. This is the house renovation where it's a full gut. This is actually my fifth house that I purchased in a 2-year period of time. I call it Venable due to the street name that it's actually on, and this is in kind of the central-ish Baltimore City area. So here we are past our rough-in phase and into now the finishings. So last time you saw me, I did the HVAC, the electrical, the plumbing, well actually plumbing and then electrical in that order, and then the framers came back in and framed all around this ductwork here. Well, what happens during that process, if you get permits pulled on the property, which you should for a full gut renovation like this, is you have to get inspections done on each part of the process. So with that, we had our contractors themselves, the actual plumber, electrician, and the HVAC technician actually got on a system called QuickTrack, which is the Baltimore City inspections scheduling. And an inspector comes in, spends maybe about 2 minutes in the property, just looking at it, making sure everything's up to code, and then they pass it, and then they put one of these stickers that you might be able to see over here on the window. And once we get 3 of these stickers for the plumbing, the electrical, the gas, we put them up on here, and actually 4, I'm sorry, gas is considered a separate inspection. So once all of those are on there, then we have to get the framing inspection. Now here in Baltimore City, the framing inspection is actually done last. It's actually considered the final rough-in inspection, which is actually kind of weird because then you have to do an insulation inspection kind of right after that. So, but Baltimore City almost refers to it as that. So you get the framing inspection done, make sure everything's all up to code, and then you do the insulation inspection, and then you finally can close up these walls. This entire process took a ton longer than we actually wanted it to. This probably took us about a month and a half to get all this done. The problem is when you have to re-inspect, you actually end up spending another week. So let's say we have to do a plumbing permit and we mess something up. Well, we have to schedule it, and they'll schedule it usually either at the end of that week or the next week after that. And of course, they don't do weekends. So this can really hold up your process quite a bit. So that was one major hiccup we ran into. Another one we ran into, and this one was actually kind of funny, was this island here. So this is more of a technical error that we made. We actually had this island actually placed right here. Well, as you can see from these photos, no one was going to actually fit between the island and the cabinets on the other side. So we had to do a course correction, and we had to move the entire island back. This included the electrical and the plumbing. Now, this wasn't actually that expensive. Our handyman managed to just fix this for us, but kind of a funny little thing. Of course, technically, we'd have to re-inspect at that point since we've moved some of the rough-in, but obviously this is minor enough. We're not going to do that. So that was another little thing that came up. Obviously, we had to move the pendant lighting. We had to, relocate it. So just kind of a funny little hiccup that came across. But we are finally walling this all in. All the insulation is in the ceiling. You can't see it at this point, but you can see from the pictures, all the insulation was there, and we had insulation here in the kitchen area as well. And we did that mostly because this is an end unit. So if we didn't put the insulation in, then we really risk our pipes freezing on the kitchen side. So that's pretty much all the major updates regarding this. All of our contractors are now kind of waiting at this point. We have our HVAC technician waiting to put the units in. You're going to sometimes see some contractors ask, especially handymen, they're going to ask while they're doing the mudding and the painting, they're going to want the HVAC running, the actual furnace. This we decided not to do. You can really damage your unit by doing that because of all the dust from the drywall and everything kind of flying into its system. So we decided not to actually install the system even though they requested it. So what they use is a heat gun to make sure everything dries in time. Otherwise, if you leave it out in this winter air, this will take forever to dry. So that's something that we had to make a decision on. Okay, we're in the winter time. Do we install the furnace for heat or do we not? The electric is working, so the guys can use space heaters if they really want to, maybe for a little bit of heat. Another thing they might need is water. So that was another little issue is the city hasn't actually supplied water because after you get all your inspections done for the plumbing, it actually takes like a month for them to put it back into the property. So they don't have the water that they need for the mudding, so they have to actually bring it on site. So that's another little thing that we had to consider. Last little consideration was BGE itself. Technically, you're supposed to shut off all the electric and shut it back or turn it back on. This process takes a little while, so you definitely want to make sure you let BGE know that you are shutting off your electric and that you are redesigning the entire house, because they won't turn your gas back on, most specifically at the street level, until you've done that with them. And that process does take a few months. So make sure to do that in the beginnings of your renovation project and not toward the end. So otherwise you're gonna hold yourself up quite a bit. So those are a couple considerations. Our plumbers are waiting to reinstall the tubs, which we'll show you upstairs, and the electricians are waiting to get all the finishing fixtures back into the ceiling, which we are gonna supply ourselves due to preference. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys upstairs and show you what we've done up in the other rooms. All right, so here we are in the master bedroom. We had to make a couple adjustments. Here you can actually see the insulation that we had to put in. So one little adjustment we have to make is we have to make the beams a little bit lower, mostly to get below the insulation, but otherwise, not too much to do there. We're framing it out to make this all a vaulted ceiling. As you can tell, it's actually a very, very high ceiling. And another modification we had to make was actually this closet. So as you can see from the photo here, this closet actually used to be tiny. And that's not really going to work. That's something we had to readjust. We expanded this all out so that way the master bedroom could have a much larger closet than actually the children's bedroom, which had a bigger closet before. That doesn't really make any sense. Obviously, the person making the decision to rent the place or buy the place is going to care more about their stuff than their children's stuff. So we had to modify that. Real easy modification, just push this back. Didn't even have to worry about the whole framing inspection part of it. And we got that done. So that's really it as far as this bedroom. The children's bedroom, same thing, just has, the drywall being put up. And then I can take you here into the bathroom to show you kind of where we're at with that. All right, everyone, so here we are in the bathroom, and this is going to be one of the final stages we also complete. Here against this wall, we actually need to insulate this. It's actually right up against the tub, but this wall is outer facing. So what we're going to do is use furring strips and then use a tub surround right after that in order to insulate this from the tub. So we got to pull this tub out just a little bit, so another modification, but pretty easy. Also, this is where the sink will go, behind the tub. Now, this might seem a little bit strange, but what's going to happen is this granite countertop in here. I couldn't move all this out the way. There's going to be a countertop right here, well, not a countertop, but a sink top, and it's going to go all the way back against the wall. So it actually has kind of an interesting, almost luxurious feel, but it's a great way to utilize the space when we actually don't have a whole hell of a lot for the sink. Normally, though, it would go right next to the toilet. So this is going to be a pretty unique feature of the home. Also, for the flooring, we're going to actually do vinyl planking throughout the entire house. This is the click lock vinyl planking. The reason why is because we intend to keep this as a rental property. And as a rental property, we want to make sure we have the most durable material possible in order for the floors, and also something that's going to last quite a while and be easy to clean, easy to maintain. So our Edgewood property, which is going to be more of a flip, we'll use a little bit of different materials. We might even use some carpet in that property. But in this one, definitely not. So it's going to be a little bit more cheaper type of material. So other than that, that is pretty much everything to say about this property. It is a smaller house, an easy row home. So let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions about this renovation project. The next time I show a video of this, it'll probably be when it's already almost finished, getting into more of the finishing touches of the entire project. So I will talk to you all really soon.